Welcome back to my channel. I know it has been a long time since I've posted on here, and I was not intending for it to be this long, but I got back into wedding planning mode. I had a wedding celebration part 2 because of last year, COVID and micro wedding, and so that took a lot more of my time than I thought it would. But now that that's over, I'm back into normal life. That actually inspired this video in which I'm going to share 10 habits that help me to live a more simple, not chaotic, and just stress-free life. I've just always enjoyed just simple living. A while back, when I first made my Instagram name was simply Re. Re is my maiden name. And so I've just always been about like simple living and just life not just feeling, I don't know what word to give it, but when things are just all over the place, I just can't function properly. I do want to give a disclaimer though that my life is not perfect. I don't want to romanticize my life in a way that's just unrealistic. I don't always do these things. Sometimes I wish that I was better and sometimes I just fall short. But the whole idea of building habits is that you put work at it and hopefully over time, by you doing it over and over again, it becomes part of your daily life. So I'm going to share these things hopefully to help you as well. So here are 10 things that I do to help me live a simple life that's not chaotic and just stress-free. Okay, so the first habit for me is making time to spend time with God, prioritizing my time with Him. Starting off my day, just praying, getting into the Word, pouring out my heart to the Lord, releasing my burdens, and just receiving from Him, whether I need joy or peace or just a word in season. It really sets the tone for the rest of my day. And I've noticed, because when I look back, I'm like, okay, a lot of the times where throughout my day I was feeling anxious or just feeling out of it, it was because I hadn't had that time to really connect with God. I've noticed a difference when I'm able to have like solemn time where it's like, all right, God, let me start off my day with you and you lead me and guide me into this day. The second thing, which I think a lot of people do, it's planning my day. I used to do times tables. So at 8 a.m. I'm doing this. At 9 a.m. I'm doing this. At 10 a.m. I'm doing this. And that worked for me when I was in school and college. But now what I found really works for me is having a block schedule. And so I learned this from Jordan Page. She's a YouTuber. I think I'll just link her down below. It's like fun, cheap, and free, something like that. But essentially, she has like 10 kids. And so she follows a block schedule. And what that looks like is instead of doing the whole times tables, instead I have a block of time allotted to do certain things. So let's say it's Saturday and I have a block from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. During that block, I plan to wake up, do my hygiene, spend time with the Lord, go to the gym, and have breakfast. And so I don't have specific times where I'm doing each of those things. I just know that within that 3-hour window, I want to get those things done. That has helped me with feeling less stressed because if I don't do something at the exact hour I was expecting for it to get done, I don't feel like the whole day is unraveling, if that makes sense. And in some cases, when some things in that block don't get done, I move on to the next block. It helps to remove the pressure of just having a long to-do list that you just have to get through the whole day. And instead I know that, okay, throughout different points in the day, I'm able to tackle these different things. Her video probably explains it better than I do, so I'll just have it linked down below. This third thing, I don't know if this is just a millennial adulting thing, but taking my vitamins, something about taking my vitamins regularly makes me feel like I'm just doing something right. But not only that, I do feel the difference when I'm regular with my supplements. So I have a pretty good vitamin regimen down right now that works for me. I take prenatals, I'm not pregnant by the way. I take prenatals, antibiotics, vitamin D, zinc, folic acid, and iron. And I know that sounds like a lot, but taking all of those really helps me. I feel the difference in my body. I feel more energized. And as a result, I feel less stressed and it just works for me. And in conjunction with that is my next habit, which is exercising regularly. This summer, I was not great with this because of the whole wedding celebration planning. And I noticed a difference because when you exercise, your body releases endorphins, and those endorphins help to make you feel good and less stressed. And so I can definitely notice a difference when I'm regularly exercising and when I'm not. And so it's something that I've just told myself, like, Sarah, at least 3 times a week. 4 is optimal, but at least 3 times a week. Exercising regularly definitely helps make me feel less stressed and just to feel stronger and more energized. Number 5, this was hard for me for a long time, especially being a Christian. And that is knowing when to say yes and knowing when to say no. I know that I used to be a people pleaser. Like, I would say yes to everything, and not just ministry related things, but even just like, for example, I play the violin. Oh, can you play for me at my church? Can you play at my wedding? Can you do this? Can you do that? And sometimes, ooh, I don't know what that is. Sometimes getting paid is just not enough. I just can't be everywhere all the time, driving to like 10 different cities. Obviously, I'm exaggerating, but like just going up and down every day is just not sustainable, especially now being married and joining my life with somebody else. I have to think about what works not only for me, but for the both of us. And so learning to say no has been so important. And I do know that there are some times where God is actually wanting to expand my capacity, right? And get me to experience a greater measure of his grace. And then there are other times where God is like, Sarah, it's time to actually rest and to look at what I've already put in your hands and for you to see, are you cultivating it? Are you, what's the word? How well are you shepherding what I've already put in your hands? Like the Bible says, we have to be faithful with little before we can be given much. And so when I find that I'm not even able to be faithful with the little that God has put in my hands, I know it's time to reevaluate all of my commitments and things and to see, okay, am I doing things that I really shouldn't be doing right now, and what should I do about it? So knowing when to say yes and knowing when to say no makes a really big difference, and it's helped me in just living simply and not feeling like my life is just chaotic. This next one is remaining organized. And I saw this on YouTube as well. I don't know who it was. This was a long time ago. But essentially the lady said that she had a 30-second rule in which if there is something that is not in its place, or if you're going to do something that will take 30 seconds or less to put in its rightful place, then just do it. For example, if I'm coming home from work and I have my book bag and I just want to put it down on the floor, it will take me less than 30 seconds to take it and put it where it's supposed to be. And so I'm just going to do it. Or if I just finish eating and I can either just put my dish in the sink without rinsing it off, or I can just rinse it off and put it in the dishwasher. It'll take me less than 30 seconds, so I'm just gonna do it. And doing that around the house, whether it's in my bedroom, when I take off my clothes, am I gonna throw it on the floor? Which sometimes that's what happens. Or am I just gonna hang it up, which takes 15 seconds? Those little decisions every day help to keep our space more organized. And honestly, there are times where by the end of the week, there's just a pile of clothes and it just happened, but doing this helps to avoid that. I also do this with like my car, with the living space, so that it doesn't feel like when the weekend comes, I have this mountain of chores to do. But throughout the week, I was doing things little by little to help to make that mountain less of a mountain. I skipped over number 7 while I was recording, but my next habit is curating my space. A cluttered space for me is a cluttered mind. And so in our office, for example, we've been trying to declutter and just have minimal decor so that when we're working in there, it doesn't feel overwhelming, but instead we feel motivated to get work done. In our living room, for example, we wanted it to feel homey and welcoming and cozy, so we chose colors and other decor pieces that help to bring about that feeling. I've always desired for my home to be a safe space, and so curating that helps me to feel stress-free and just at peace in my home. This next one is transparency and being vulnerable. Because sometimes life does get stressful, and sometimes no matter what you do, there are always going to be things that you did not see coming, whether it's a tragedy in your family or illness or loss of a job or whatever kind of hardship. We don't see those things coming, and they affect us in a very real way. Being transparent with my husband, obviously, but also my friends, having people who can pray with me, who can help to bear the burden with me, makes a big difference. I know this happened to me before where I'm going through something and I didn't share it with my friends, and they're wondering why I may not be as responsive or I'm not able to hang out as much, but it's like I'm going through this very real thing, and just sharing and being transparent helps those who are in your life to support you and to be there for you or to give you space when you need it. And it's also just very relieving to get things off your chest, to share what's going on in your mind, and to have someone just to listen and to know what's going on, and to just get it out. Number 9 is continuing to learn. So that could be reading books, or instead of just scrolling aimlessly on social media, I'll watch an informative video, something that will either answer a question that I've had or help me to get more insight on something I've been wondering about. Just making time to stimulate my brain, I guess, is the best way that I can put it. I know one of my goals for this year was to read more books. I haven't been reading that many books this year, but the time that I did make to read felt really good. I love learning. I know that I'm like a curious cat, and I think there's a phrase that says like curiosity killed the cat. I don't know. I don't claim that, but I can be very curious. Sometimes I just have questions about random things, and so just looking it up, watching a video to get understanding, it just helps me to feel. It helps to clear my mind, I guess you could say. It helps to clear my mind if I have a question about like. And I kid you not, I have these thoughts in my mind of like, why do mushrooms grow into the shape that they do? Sometimes just looking it up and finding out why, I don't know what it is about it, but just like getting that question answered just helps me to feel like it takes some clutter out of my mind, because I'll be thinking about it like, man, why do mushrooms have that kind of shape? And then just getting distracted. I know this sounds so silly, but it's real. It does happen to me. So just making time to learn and to read, to acquire knowledge, it helps to just declutter my brain. And it almost seems, what's the word? Counterintuitive, because it's like, okay, I'm trying to declutter my brain, but I'm taking in more information. But it's more so the sense of like a question that I've had in my mind is being answered. Like I'm getting a resolution. Sometimes this also looks like going to a museum or a historical type of place. Like when we go on vacation, I like to visit museums or like historical artifacts just to learn more about things that I don't know about, because I don't know. I feel like most people are like this. I don't know, but I just have questions about a lot of things, and I feel a sense of relief when I get those questions answered. It's like, oh, okay, that makes sense. I can move on now. Last but not least is just taking time to be still and to think and to be alone. Sometimes for my job, I have very long drives, and I cherish that time. When I have like a 3-hour drive, I don't answer calls unless it's an emergency or like my husband or something. I just take time to just be still and just think. Sometimes I'm just observing nature or literally just thinking my thoughts, like having time to freely think about thoughts and ideas and questions. And I also implement this by spending less time on social media. I mean, I already have like, I don't know, I have a weird relationship with social media. I just like, sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't. It's strange, but just taking a step back from social media, not just mindlessly scrolling, and being able to still my mind. Also, I shared this in my video from the beginning of this year about my goals. Me and my husband, we still don't watch TV Monday through Thursday. And so having those times where I would usually unwind by putting on a Netflix show and just watching it, instead I find other ways to unwind where I can actually unwind my mind and release the things from the day. This can sometimes interconnect with some of the other things that I mentioned, like instead of unwinding watching TV, I will read a book or learn something new or spend time with the Lord or go and exercise. So it kind of all the habits kind of also start to mesh together, or I'll go and organize something, if that makes sense. So those are all the tips that I have. Like I said, they're very simple. They're not like groundbreaking rocket science, but these little things do help me to feel like my life is just more simple, less chaotic, and stress-free. Of course, in life, there are things that are going to stress us out, whether it's deadlines at work or just being in a very tough season. But I found that even in the midst of those things, these habits help to still keep me grounded. So hope that was helpful for you. You can go ahead and share some of your own habits in the comments that help you to live a more stress-free or simple or less chaotic life. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and I hope you stick around.